You know better than me. Never was the literary type.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Firstly, I want to know what my viewers think about the Game Awards. Now let me tell you one thing. For me, I don't care what games win, whether it be Resident Evil 4, Starfield, Baldur's Gate, Core 6. I play virtually everything. You want to know what I do if I don't like that game? I keep them. Yes, I uninstall, but I keep them in my Steam library. But that's not the case with console fanboys, whether it's PlayStation, Nintendo, or even Xbox. Now before I begin, you're probably wondering who I'm talking to. Harman Smith. And why do I say this? Because most of the game's features, I believe he would say, nah, it's not on Nintendo. As expected. But let's see what he had to say for that.
One of the interesting things about the Game Awards over the past couple of years is their dedication to trying to shill you on Cyberpunk 2077, right? People forget that the expansion for Cyberpunk came out this year and that a number of notable PC gaming YouTubers tried to gaslight people into thinking the game was good now and that everything was fixed and that this was a Game of the Year contender. It came and went, quicker than Baldur's Gate 3, right? Baldur's Gate 3 was forgotten in a month. This was forgotten, before it even came out, right? I imagine most of the player base wasn't even aware that the DLC was coming out. And there were a lot of signs that they were going to do this, right? They produced the animated series on Netflix.
See, this is the reason why most YouTubers, they script. Well, for me at least, sometimes I don't even script because I just look one good video and boom, script is already in front of me. And I'm still working on that. By the way, Harman, you think that everyone forgot about it? Yes, Cyberpunk 2077 launched before because, don't forget, it was the middle of COVID. I think there was a possible sacrifice that needs to be done. And you should know sometimes developers even brought their stuff back home just to develop those games because they can't go out with the middle of a pandemic. Only the essential workers are allowed to go out during the pandemic. What do you expect? Yes, it was buggy, but eventually, well, it took a year or perhaps a few months. There was a patch and then the game was playable and I did play it. Well, I just started playing it. Still working on it. I mean, I still sucks at it. I'm good with that. Baldur's Gate, what was that, a few weeks ago? I could be wrong. You know what, let me check the Steam chart. 1 second. Well, the ratings is overwhelmingly positive. Harman, why nobody talking about? Why is it positive? I couldn't find anything. And if it's not the best what people are saying, for the gaslighting, why there's still gameplay footage? I'm pretty much certain there's gameplay footage on every YouTube page. If you search, if you do your research, you should know people are still making videos. Hell, I even have a friend, my coworkers, who is also playing Baldur's Gate. I think he played Baldur's Gate. I could be wrong, but he was having a blast.
They've been, shilling the patches. They've been trying to convince people the game is good now. The reason being is that the industry is desperately trying to scramble to salvage CD Projekt Red from their failure with the original release. They're trying to keep this company on the pedestal that they put them on in 2015 with the release of The Witcher 3, right? CD Projekt Red fell from grace unusually quickly from a propped up studio. Right, with
before we continue on, let's check this out. CD Projekt Red failing? What's going on? Let's see. Still active? Let's see what's going on. There has to be something. I need to see if validate. Well, this is okay, it is failing or anything, like you said. I couldn't agree with you. However, I mean, they're still producing content. Look at the article, say the developer doesn't regret making their first-person shooter. And the recent one is that they're still trying to fix their relationship with the fans. Here's the real thing. I don't even care about Game Awards anymore. If you don't know, If you research the judges, every YouTuber that I subscribe to hated them. Like IGN. Nobody trusts IGN. I mean, as they say, video game journalists pretty much dead or perhaps non-existent at this point, because it's not easy to know what games are good without getting into the politics. Let's take Hogwarts Legacy for example. You think that's controversial? The reason is that nobody's even saying Hogwarts Legacy is a good game, not when there's J.K. Rowling's or anything, because they refuse to review it properly. I even heard some YouTubers say it, but I could be wrong. For me, I don't care what news outlet or any video game journalist says. If I saw that trailer was good, then to me it was good. No doubt about it. No, I don't trust any of those video game journalists. Video game journalists is pretty much a joke at this point.
Where it lasted like what, from 2003 to 2013, with like the release of Mass Effect 3, where like the crack started like, you know, just destroying the entire company. Like, you know, CD Projekt Red didn't manage half that. Okay, like these studios are just falling from grace all the time, or before they even can become relevant. Like Embracer Group is probably a really good example of this, where they bought up a bunch of IPs and everyone thought they were going to be a major player in the industry, only to release Saints Row, a game so bad that even like woke activists like Review Tech USA will tell you that it bombed because it was way too woke, right? Go woke, go broke was proven to be a real thing with Saints Row. But like,
okay, first of all, seriously, what is up with all these woke stuff? Look, in this channel, I really don't care who my subscriber is. Anyone is welcome. Doesn't matter whether you're straight, black, African, or LGBT, you're welcome in my channel anytime. I'm not biased or a bigot, as they say. You wanna know what? Let's see what Saints Row's rating. Let's see what's happening. I couldn't find anything. Only thing I found is that according to Game Rant, there's still hope for it, but I wouldn't put my hopes up at this point. Seriously, Harman, I don't like to say editing, but seriously, you had to edit your video. And like I said, if any of you guys see any cuts or anything that are happening in this video, that means I know how to edit. The majority of the footage that you're gonna see is mostly gameplay footage that I'm adding, sometimes to represent what's happening. Look, Saints Row is gonna be fine. Yes, that's not gonna make as much as famous game. I think some games are still relevant, and also people have already owned those games. People are still talking about every game in the known planet. I mean, I'm certain you will find Saints Row gameplay. Sometimes the trend, they only peak once or at least a week. After that, it goes down because other people's interest goes someplace else. You can't just focus on one interest, okay? That's not how it works. That's not how business works. Yes, there will be competition, but each competition or each brand has their own trends. That's the reason why there is Google Trends. You should know when it's spike, when it's going down, when it's not trending. Everything is connected, and that's how I got my YouTube ideas.
You look at Cyberpunk 2077, right? You look at this game, right? It's still broken, it's still unfinished, it's like not fun at all, but you are seeing a lot of notable people, you know, like Noah Antweiler, the Spoonie one, Angry Joe speaks positively of it. You're seeing the Game Awards talk about this. You're seeing people try and convince you, trying to gaslight you into thinking Cyberpunk 2077 is good now. Right, and this has been going on for a long time. I've addressed this for a long time, and I expressed my concerns that this would result in another No Man's Sky situation in which a lot of people would gaslight themselves into thinking the game was always good and that the backlash was unwarranted, that the game has been updated so much that...
First off, what's happening with your camera? Seriously, dude, can you stop moving? Look, your camera is having a hard time focusing. And another thing, I don't remember any YouTuber trying to, or perhaps the game trying to gaslight gamers, or perhaps the YouTube. I mean, I've been looking for everything. Nothing. So far, it's nothing. I've been checking it. Let me see. See, Harman, I've been on Google search for minutes and hours and I couldn't find anything, at least recently. Bro, where'd you get your research? Seriously. If you take some simple Google search, if you see the dates on every article, the latest one's like, what, 2 years ago? Anything can be forgotten within that time, or less. Look, I tried to play Cyberpunk 2077. Yes, I still had to fix some frame rate issues, like lower the settings or anything, but overall, it was smooth. I like the game. Listen, Harman, why don't you try to play that game? I mean, you said you have a high-end gaming PC, right? Play that game. Also, Why did you show all of us the specs? I like to see. I mean, you said you have Tekken 7 at some point, I remember. Also, let me check Tekken. Also, I did check Tekken 7, and the recommended requirement doesn't need much. It needs a 1060 or above equivalent to it. And I'm pretty much certain your high-end PC or high-end laptop can run it. And by the way, it's not 70 GB, it's 60 based on my analysis. 60 available space, which doesn't include the patches or anything. I think it's going to be more than that. But regardless, you can run that game. I mean, why did you show footage? Show us that you have played Tekken 7 or perhaps any other Steam game that you said you have it. Show us.
It became the game that Sean Murray originally promised. It's not true. Right? Like, I was concerned about that. But, other than the Game Awards shill picks, like, it really does feel like Cyberpunk is not talked about whatsoever, right? Nobody cared about it. Nobody is going out there making videos like defending Cyberpunk or anything. Like, all anyone is doing the same things they were doing in 2013 when, like, insisting that the game is going to be amazing on their brand new gaming PCs, but once CD Projekt Red like just fixes all the glitches, but it just isn't going to happen.
Seriously, Harman? I just got to YouTube search and there's people playing it. They're talk about there's even behind the scenes. And not only that, a month ago, Asmongold TV tried Cyberpunk 2077. And then 3 weeks ago, he tried it again. Bro, nobody's talking about it, then why is people playing it? Dude. Yeah, whatever. Look, why don't you show... Oh wait, I think I know why. You think Cyberpunk 2077 is not gonna be on Nintendo? Are you out of your mind? Do you realize that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to crush that Nintendo Switch? See, this is the reason why most developers are not going to port games in the Nintendo Switch. All of them knew it was very underpowered. Also, to my viewers, have any of you played Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch? If so, let me know in the comments what experience did you receive when playing that, if you haven't. Let me know, because I want to prove my point. I haven't played Hogwarts Legacy, but I will in the near future.
What? The game has been out 3 years now, and there are still people shilling for it. There are still people advocating it for it. There are still people saying it's an amazing game, that this is one of the best DLC expansions they've ever seen in their lives. But they are very, 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 very few and far between. Right, like I expect that the Game Awards is going to pay a lot of lip service to CD Projekt Red because I'm sure they're shelling out cash for this. They're doing everything they can to manipulate people into thinking they're good again, and that they'll rebuild their reputation after The Witcher 3. But like, it's been too long, right? Like, it has been 8 years since The Witcher 3 came out. Right? It has been years since Cyberpunk 2077 came out. Like, is anybody really holding out hope that the Witcher 1 remake is going to be good, or that they're going to put out a new Cyberpunk game or a new IP in general? Like, it just isn't going to happen. They have destroyed their reputation. Nobody is looking forward to their next product.
You know what? Let's check your claim. How many copies sold? Okay, this is a little bit 2 months ago. 25 million copies. Let's see The Witcher. The Witcher 3, how many copies sold? 50 million unit 8 months ago. Well, Harman, what do you think about that? They're still selling record numbers. Also, let me check the Steam. Cyberpunk 2077, very positive. Witcher 3, that sold 50 million copies, overwhelmingly positive. What do you have to say about that, Harman? Looks like I just debunked you.
Nobody. And they're doing everything they can to like build themselves back up, to try and like make themselves relevant again. But like, it's so weird when you look at this. When you see people try to tell you that, oh, Zelda's been dead since Ocarina of Time. It's basically a remake of A Link to the Past. Like, it's so weird how you'll see people like paint these narratives about Nintendo franchises, right? How 2D Mario was good, but 64 like dropped the ball. How Metroid Fusion dropped the ball from Super. Like you'll see people say all this weird stuff about how Nintendo used to be good and then they fell off. In spite of like all these sequels, all these success stories, all these innovations, right?
First off, Harman, look, do you even know how audience or rating works? I really don't like to bring this up, but not everybody can play a Nintendo games. Look, I know some of my viewers have Nintendo games, have Nintendo Switch. However, for the kids, they will eventually grow up and their interest will go someplace else. Yes, they will still be playing old games like Nintendo, like Mario, if they have their interest back, because for nostalgia, like myself, I also wanted to play Mario when I had the chance, of which I'm not buying a Switch. I'm gonna be emulating. And no, it's not piracy. And another thing, Game Awards, like I said before, I don't even care. People even say the judges are all, I don't know if this is true, but some people didn't like the judges who are chosen there because you know how the judges work, because some of them are either anti-woke or woke, or I don't know how the situation worked, but if you guys know, let me know in the comments. And most importantly, me, I will play virtually any game that comes out, whether it is winning Game of the Year or Game Awards or anything, doesn't matter, I'll just play it. Even though if Resident Evil 4 didn't get a Game Award, or perhaps Starfield, I still be playing those games.
There hasn't been anything like that for CD Projekt Red. There has been no new content since The Witcher 3. And if you're like me, you didn't like The Witcher 3 to begin with. So it's like, okay, what makes this studio so special? What makes them so relevant? Why exactly are the Game Awards shilling out for them every year? Why do we have to put up with this nonsense every year? Why are we talking about a studio that doesn't produce video games at the Video Game Awards show?
The reason why we're here, because you keep bringing this up, e-hole. Look, you are still salty and coping and molding. I mean, Harman, why didn't you tell that to the 20 million or 30 million people bought Cyberpunk 2077 and the 50 million people that bought The Witcher 3 game? Not just on PC, but on every platform. What do you say about that?
Right, like, it really needs to stop. Okay, I really expect where we might see some CD Projekt Red kind of like damage control at the show. I don't know if they might drop a new trailer for the Witcher 1 remake or whatever. They could do anything. Like, they're gonna try to do something to try to get people to like care about them again, right? Like, I don't know if it'll be at the Game Awards, but like they're gonna try. They're gonna try and damage control the situation. They're gonna try to get people like invested in Cyberpunk. They're gonna try to get those stock prices back up, and gonna try to be like to be competitive again. But it's over. It really is. Like, Nintendo put out a sequel to Breath of the Wild in 6 years. You know, like, they put out another open world game with real technical evolution, right, and innovations, while Witcher 3 has never had a real sequel, right? They have completely stagnated over the past decade. They killed off their one cash cow right when it was starting to become a big deal, and they just cannot keep going. They cannot keep themselves relevant. They cannot keep innovating. They cannot keep up this illusion that they're relevant, even with Jeff Keighley and the Game Awards shilling out for them. Right? There are.
Okay, first off, Harman, honestly, I'm gonna put a counter on every time you give what I believe a dead silence. Okay, there's a lot of counter. And if you guys know how many counter, let me know in the comments. If you guys can guess it, if you made it so far in the video. Look, Harman, every game or perhaps every franchise, you can't expect them to continue forever, man. Let's take Spider-Man for example. Just recently, they just ended the trilogy of MCU Tom Holland Spider-Man of No Way Home. That is the 3-movie dedicated for Spider-Man's origin. Even though they skipped the Spider-Bite and the Uncle Ben, it's already been done twice? And take a look. Amazing Spider-Man only got 2, whilst the Sam Raimi Spider-Man got 3. Listen, not every game or every movie is going to continue after the trilogy ended, or perhaps quadrilogy, pentalogy, or whatever it may be. The story has to have a final ending before it moves to another story. I mean, seriously, you're a writer yourself. I mean, do you even know how every chapter works, man? Look, I'm a writer too. Every story needs to have a ending, or perhaps an ending to set up the next story. That's how ending works. Although I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. By next year, late 2024, Spider-Man 4 will begin filming. The only way you do that is to make sure the first movie is better, or perhaps it excelled the audience expectation and also the critics. And then, if you want to make a sequel to that, you have to make sure that sequel is better than the first one. And that goes same with the third movie. Take a look at Spider-Man MCU's trilogy. The Far From Home was better than Homecoming, and then No Way Home is better than Far From Home. See how that works?
There are a lot of issues with the way the Game Awards are being conducted, but I think this is the big one, is just the defense force for certain products. Now, I think Kojima Productions is like the number one example of this, of like why I have an issue with Jeff Keighley in particular. But like, looking at CD Projekt Red, they're probably a close second, because I just cannot stand how much of a pass they've been given over the past several years over this situation. Cyberpunk 2077 was never good. It will never be good. And anyone who is telling you otherwise is lying to you.
Really, Harman, you just end the video like that? Well, do you think Asmongold's gonna lie about this? If anything, you're the one who is lying. Bro, look, listen. I think Cyberpunk is gonna be better. Every game is not gonna be perfect on launch. That's why most people avoid buying games day one. Yes, there are exceptions because they want to test it. Yes, even though they buy it, don't play it immediately. They will probably wait until the patch and then play it. Just like I did. I tried to avoid buying games day one because I know that day one will probably have many problems, bugs, glitches. Take a look at Marvel Spider-Man 2. Many people are reporting it before the patch arrives. And honestly, I don't even know if the PC port is gonna be okay. And you guys probably heard that The Last of Us Part 2 has just given a PS5 port, a remaster, meaning that the PC port isn't far behind. And I'm worried because you see what happened in The Last of Us Part 1. Oh boy, the PC port launch was trash. Well, until it gets fixed. But let's hope The Last of Us Part 2 remastered on PC will be better. And like I said, many of these games I didn't get a chance to play this because it was on console. I couldn't afford a PS4, I couldn't afford a PS5 or an Xbox, so the best solution is PC. And I was so glad that Marvel Spider-Man has just come to the PC, and also Miles Morales, of which I'm going to be playing Miles Morales soon, and I'm going to be playing Marvel Spider-Man 2 once it is given a PC port. But regardless, I just hope Marvel Spider-Man 2 PC port is probably better and can have more features. I'm crossing my fingers. If you guys enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe, and comment down below what do you think about the Game Awards. Because for me, like I said, I don't care, and I play virtually any games regardless what the critics or perhaps the judges says. Relevant content will also be in the description as well, and also my past video right up here. And please visit my second channel if you guys want to see reaction videos or any response or perhaps even a documentary of myself. I'll see you there.